Welcome, patrons, to the library, the multiverse, my little slice of the multiverse. Library dreams, library imagination, everything you could ever want could be here, behind you, or in front of you. I don't know. It's a very simple little library here. But thank you, patrons. I'm your librarian, or your informationist for the night. Star Shadow VT, aka Star. Or Star Shadow. Yeah, we're going the female form today. I really feel like it's Friday. I feel maybe not. Maybe we need the glasses. That might help. QT anime here, because we're going full weave again. We're gonna play some Genshin after some last night where we did some good work, but still got some quest to catch up on. So a lot of quest actually. So. Really need to work on it. But like I said, it's Friday weekend coming up, so hopefully y'all are now on your time off. It's the getting a chance to enjoy the weekend. But man, a long week, as they say, long week, just working. Even though it's nothing physically difficult, still mentally draining, mentally tough. Especially, like I said, we had stuff going on here. We got roof on Wednesday. That was nerve-wracking in the most literal way, just because all the vibrations and the pounding and everything just gets into your body. And so everyone's finally recovering. Cats were jumpy yesterday, but they've settled down now. And yeah, family will be back tomorrow. So everything will be more normal once again, which, is good. It's good. So yesterday we talked about some of the manga that's out there. We've been reading some of the newer stuff that's come out. Hopefully y'all are getting a chance to read some of that. I mean, if you're not, definitely check out some stuff. And I mean, if you're on Android, at least, I'm pretty sure there's one on iPhone too. For Manga Plus, which is Shonen Jump kind of app. It's got a lot of the Shonen Jump Plus stuff, and all the newest chapters are up for free reading, so check that out. The latest couple chapters are free there. There's a Shonen Jump app too, for if you want to get a subscription for a couple bucks a month. Get a lot of old chapters of current things, some of the old series like Bleach and Naruto and all that stuff. So One Piece, if you're like me and wanted to read that from the beginning, worth it to get all 1,000 chapters available to you. So yeah, I find it to be worth it. Definitely check that stuff out. Real good stuff. But yeah, I'm also, like I said, I've mentioned this before, Kodansha is gonna be having their own app again. I'm excited to see what that's gonna be. It's gonna be called K app or something in a couple months. I have to be keeping an eye out for that, because they got some of that good stuff too. They're one of the publishers for I think Seven Deadly Sins, Attack on Titan, Blue Lock, I believe is under them too. So definitely worth it to keep an eye out for that. In the US, I don't think that's an international app that they're going to be doing. I think it's going to be US only. But if you're in the US, definitely want to keep an eye on that, an eye out for that, so that you can maybe get access. There may be some free stuff that comes out, maybe like a Shonen Jump kind of thing, where you get the latest chapters. So you jump in, you're reading constantly. You'll be able to catch the new stuff as it comes out and things like that. So I mean, definitely gotta check that stuff out. If you're interested in manga, there's just so much good stuff. So much stuff. I mean, there's stuff for everyone. Comedies and actions and all kinds of shonen kind of stuff. And I'm sure the Kodansha one is going to have a large variety of stuff too, because they have even more so than just the shonen stuff. I think they have some seinen stuff and some shoujo stuff. So that could be really big for people, even more so than Shonen Jump. That definitely will be looking forward to that myself. When I get some more time, probably get a sub back to Crunchyroll so I can catch up on some animes that I haven't gotten a chance to watch. But like I said, I don't have a ton of time yet, so makes it a little bit more difficult. And definitely makes it not quite worth it right now, but always have time to fit in some manga in my life. A lot quicker to read a chapter than it is to watch a 30, well, not 30 minute, but like 23 to 25 minute episode that I can only half pay attention to so I can do other stuff at the same time. Can always find that time to read 5 minutes per chapter and just fit it in where possible. Spread mine out over the course of the week. I mean, there's something like, I want to say something like 20 Shonen Jump manga that are like currently running weekly that I keep up with. And so reading like 3 a day. Of course, then there's the ones that are monthly ones, and a couple that are every 2 weeks. And there's something like One Punch Man, which is whenever they feel like doing it. Which is often at least a couple times a month, although they're on announced hiatus for at least a month. So yeah, I mean, lots of reading there. I'm sure there are people who just go and just take it and just read everything all at once. And you want to do that too. But I like to spread it out and then add in some of the Manga Plus stuff for Shonen Jump Plus stuff. It's always some interesting things. Like I said, there's just so much good stuff down right now. Something for everyone. So keep an eye out if you're not reading. But let me know what you're reading. Let me know what's interesting out there, what you're finding fun. Especially comedy manga are definitely my favorite. I like them to be silly and ridiculous and just fun. That's I like it light. So if you got anything like that, definitely would be interested in seeing it. Sports manga too. I never get enough of that. Like, still in the middle of Slam Dunk, reading that for the first time. It's been very interesting. So definitely a product of its time. But yeah, and the scanlation I'm reading isn't the best. Definitely a big difference between just like a straight translation and then a more localization, I guess, maybe like what you get for professional translators. Like a huge difference in quality. Like, I've seen some of the scanlation versus translations for Blue Lock, and yeah, it's a night and day difference. Even those that have taken on like some of the terminology and style of the translated versions, they still really weird. Can be really weird. But yeah, but then, you know, now with the translations are so much better than they were back then. So like the Slam Dunk one is just no, not good at all. But I'm getting the gist of it at least. So I mean, that'd be about as much as I would be able to get if I was reading it in Japanese eventually. So I think I'm getting pretty much the same effect. So yeah, let's work on this then. Let's get ourselves over here to oh wait, hold on before I do that. Get ourselves into the game here. Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna try it through chat this time. Yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. Sometimes it don't quite always work, but here we go. All right, so yesterday I was working on story mission. Actually, the prereq for this was Kazuha's story mission or story quest line, which I was surprised about. So we did that last night. We got it done in like an hour and a half, which is not bad, like the whole thing. So I thought we would have to cut that over too, but since I was gonna just do this one straight in, but like I said, it was a prereq. I thought there might actually be another prereq, but apparently not. So let's get into this here. We're gonna go see Nahida, our goddess of Dendro of Sumeru. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes, because this storyline, this whole quest line in Sumeru has been where we've gotten some good storytelling. So I'm excited, very excited to see where we're gonna go here. definitely started out as, trying to find its feet early on in the first few quests in this game, but they're starting to find their feet for sure now. And I think part of it has just been all the events they've done and some experimental stuff that they've done. It's really helped. Oh, we're just already right in. Perfect.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Yes, we're gonna listen to the voice acting, because it's not bad.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
This is an interesting beginning.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Really? That's it?
Yes, you came to me. So all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Like, so what is...
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma!
Like Sawada's vaguely British accent there.
Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
I mean, that's been true since the beginning, man. Or at least since the beginning of the Sumeru storyline, though.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatara Suna mystery is all about.
So we're gonna go listen in. I didn't read that out. Inversion of Genesis. And we're gonna jump. I don't know why they're making us do this.
I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. If only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about her, this seems like the kind of thing she'd know about.
Huh. If you're looking for the traveler, that's me.
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Okay, they don't know the most famous person in Teyvat right now.
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
Ah, yes, the very bitchy. If you don't believe me, I'll go. Yes.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
If anything, the evidence is very conclusive here.
Oh, Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kind of lacking.
Nice.
Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatara Suna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Ah, I see.
Sorry, I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatara Suna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatara Suna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatara Suna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade.
Oh, is this the dude? Okay, so I think I'm starting to see the connection here. The sword that was taking over people in Kazuha's quest. This must be the dude who made it.
But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the sword maker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
All right.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
All right.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Hey, we're on the same page here, Paimon. We're on the same page.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Out of context, that sounds a little weird.
Stop shouting!
Paimon was like, don't talk about this right now. That's not appropriate. Not appropriate conversation. Don't care that you got lucky, man. No matter how much you want to tell us about it.
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out.
Jesus Christ.
It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago.
Now we're back on track.
Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Seems like everyone's going missing back then. Could it be?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Yes, this is the dude that made the sword. I got it now. I'm figuring it out just as much as they are.
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art.
Right?
Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
All right.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Yeah, tell us.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
This man.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
Why wouldn't that be for, like, Nahita's sake or something? Why Pete?
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabuki Mono was not a human, but a puppet.
Oh my god, the Wanderer.
A puppet?
Oh, the Shogun puppet, maybe. Yeah, that would make sense too. The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. Couldn't be her. Yeah. The Kabukimono has to be the Balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in Tatarasuna? I mean, makes sense.
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Oh yeah, glare at Paimon, hope she keeps her big ass mouth shut.
No, Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Alright. Author Sawada, Extract 1. A man arrived in Tatarasuna around 3 in the afternoon. From afar, he spied laborers walking along the mountain roads towards the factories, their shoes scuffing along the jutting stones. Okay, this accent is not working. They walked like people convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from it gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. The man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character who stood half a head taller greeted him with a heavy slap on the back. And yet, his words were filled with respect. Do my eyes deceive me? Sir Miyazaki, I cannot think that the return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you. Miyazaki smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their journey, expression relaxed. Why, Katsuragi, Inazuma is the realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced? And what about the good news? There was some, naturally. The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now the flames of a forge are unlike any other, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too then was the flame watcher an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working alongside the watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Katsuragi and Miyazaki strode into the room did the watcher turn. This watcher was Niwa, armory officer and administrator of Tatarasuna, born to the Niwa clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishin art. Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement unto itself. Miyazaki handed a well-bundled text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression and said, "It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan in the city do not think highly of our plan. Yet I still believe it to be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested." Niwa studied the text and nodded. "We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Katahara says yay or nay." Katsuragi frowned with a sigh he said, "Forging is a precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs, and still, you seek improvement each day with terrifying drive. Should my lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss." Niwa smiled, replying, "And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsuragi?" Katsuragi neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his 2 friends, and yet he could not think of any way to deflect, and so groused, "I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you." Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsuragi's palm. But just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps light with the celerity of youth. The head that peeked in was round, and in the light of the fires, looked like an oiled jewel. The young man placed some boxed food at the side, and nodding, he prepared to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, "What about your share? Aren't you going to eat it?" The young man, upon hearing these words, found himself slightly at a loss. After a while, he answered, "Very well, I'll try it." "You are welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare after all," Niwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. Extract 2, okay. How long is this? Okay, there's 3 extra. Okay, my god. Extract 2. The kabakimono was by the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of darkness. The bands of twilight showed themselves not, for in their place did thunder clouds roil, grumbling the omens of a coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dusk bade the clouds to kneel upon the land, its supplication mirroring the kabukimono, with knees bent and face pointed toward the waters. None passed that way, and none knew what he was waiting for in silence. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till a black cloud suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the kabukimono, bearing down on him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his studying gaze was refined by time, he understood. This cloud had marked him from the very start. Outbound, a fishing boat drew near, the lights of its bow flickering in and out of sight beneath falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone that can deliver my boat upon safe tides?" Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in the befatness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the kabukimono stood idle, slanting his head to study the grand wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed at the kabukimono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite out of it. Yet he did not, for the dark clouds swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The kabukimono stared at it blankly, like an awakening dreamer. When he returned to himself, the clouds had scattered, as if they had never been there at all. As for the ship, could it have been struck down by a storm? Who was to know? Not the kabukimono. So I'm trying to think here. If this is the Wanderer, like you're saying, then this might have been right after he was cast away from the Rain Shogun, or is this after he was, what he thought, betrayed by people who took him in? Alright, extract 3. Katsuragi rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord, things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there is no trace of him. And much time has passed since Sir Miyazaki left to seek aid, but he has yet to send us any missive. Look." Mikoshi Nagamasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke then, his words heavy-laden. I wish not to say such words, Katsuragi, but Sir Miyazaki may never return." Katsuragi peered down Nagamasa's broad, stiff shoulders, beyond the windows. The clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast and devour Tatarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why. Why? Katsuragi recoiled as if struck. Yes, it was coming back to him now in drips and drabs. That's why they had to set out to seek aid. Miyazaki had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form then. Traveling from Tatarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no sign of his return. Then a second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth, till the kabukimono himself had departed upon the tides under foul skies and ominous fortunes. It had been Katsuragi who had brought him back, and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet the situation in Tatarasuna was severe. Even should they sacrifice more lives, it would have been worth it to gain assistance from Inazuma City. Niwa was gone, and none could find him. Afterward, Nagamasa led a search party through the mountains and the area around the furnace, all to no avail. Folk began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned to suspicion. They wondered if he had fled, unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents. The people grew ever more suspicious. Nagamasa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, though he only nicked the silken veil the intruder wore. For a moment they swayed, and then, like a marionette pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagamasa, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord? Niwa, perhaps?" Nagamasa bellowed in fury. "You dared!" addressed Sir Niwa directly. Yet the figure parted like the mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. "Was it you who slew my people?" Nagamasa howled and charged, held back only by Katsuragi's desperate grip. As his senses returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems the rest of the work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it is apparent that this is a novel of fantastical, colorful sensibilities born from an imagination well utilized.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
My god. What? There's so much. Why is there so much reading all of a sudden? I mean, it's interesting stuff, but a brief analysis of possible events and historical importance in the Tatarasuna area. Details. This text belongs to a series of works sponsored by the Bahumana's Veil Cutter project that has yet to be numbered. The author, Akaba. Q is usually a K made further in the back, so not Akaba, it's Akaba. Gotta go back a little further. Abstract. The Tatarasuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired. Hence, this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from the available data. Glossary, Tatarasuna area, Raiden Gokuden, Mikoshi Nagamasa, Kabukimono. Introduction. This paper continues and expands the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumi, in his report on the happily hidden tales of Tatarasuna, and is intended to further this avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that do not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tatarasuna, which was a central pillar of the forging industry. There, the Mikoshi and Niwa clans, along with an eccentric puppet, serve as the 3 windows of insight we need to investigate the truth behind what happened. Of course, I hear Mikoshi and I keep thinking of Cyberpunk because of the whole thing with the Mikoshi system that they were trying to get to, like, a lot of the time. So I'm always distracted by that. Alright, body. Strange notes from the Tatarasuna area. Their contents are as follows. 1. Perhaps I overstep, but I think that Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of the name Mikoshi must eat at him. Also, Sir Katsuragi discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nazuchi Beach. 2. The inspector brought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsuragi discussed matters of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. 3. We at last made a single nagamaki. We call it the Daitatara Nagamasa. Daitatara Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits, and he and the vice armory officer, Nozomu, was so taken by the beauty of the Daitatara Nagamasa that he drew a picture of it, and he performed a sword dance with that wandering eccentric. 4. And we could not find that eccentric. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsuragi. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own nagamaki into the furnace's flame. Nozomu could not abide by that order and drew the completely melted weapon out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. 5. Nozomu died that night. I dare say that why Sir Katsuragi may have committed a malfeasance, it was out of the goodness of his heart. 6. Kinjiro hid the nagamaki and Nozomu's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamasa is harsh, but also knows right from wrong. But even so, he is not amenable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, I and some households of Tatarasuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother Chiyo, and we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating the Daitatara Nagamasa with him, and that joy of watching that nameless eccentric perform that sword dance with Katsuragi. I'm going to get it on the first try one of these times. 7. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal key into 3 parts. 1 for the inspector, 1 for the armory officer, and 1 to be left in Tatarasuna itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspector nor the armory officer could be found. So I was so bold as to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chest in Tartarusuna. Did I come across any of those? I'm not even sure. The 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tartarusuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be of good physical integrity, though they all look quite old, and while the last one looks more recent. I believe that the first 6 notes and the last are of different time periods, though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified. The contents of the first 6 should also be related to each other, as the incidents mentioned are quite consistent with one another. Rumi once mentioned in the Happily Hidden Tales of Tatarasuna, hereafter known as Hidden Tales, that in the past researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural histories of Tatarasuna and Inazuma. Though the place had fallen into some degree of disrepair since the Hidden Tales were written, things have improved since the time when I wrote my original article. Regardless, what used to be an area of major industry remains a place most inhospitable, and residents of Tatarasuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatarasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administered by Armory Officer Niwa, Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, and Inspector Mikoshi Nagamusa. Yet the elders among the locals with deeper ties to the region also seem to stress the fact that there were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai, who are so very characteristic of Inazuma's folk histories. A very small number, however, mentioned the word puppet. It should be known that puppets are neither traditional nor common yokai in Inazuma. This fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually the following pieces of information came to light. Okay, so these are probably important. A puppet did once appear in Tatarasuna. Its visage was elegant, its apparel impeccable, and the way it dressed hit all the joint lines on its body. If no one were to mention that it was indeed a puppet, it would be hard to tell at all. Additionally, this puppet seemed to possess special joint lines that would fade with time, potentially even disappearing altogether, which would perhaps eventually make the puppet seem entirely human. The name of the puppet was known to almost none. Some folk claim to have spotted it appearing around Tatarasuna, while others mention encountering it in the central regions of the area. Some even claim that it would frequent the beach. Tales spread of it standing beside the sea and gazing across the waters towards Inazuma City. What it was that the puppet was gazing at remains a mystery. As mentioned earlier, the 6 notes all document a certain nameless eccentric. The eccentric, which can also be read as kabukimono, is usually used in Inazuma to refer to a figure who dresses or behaves in a peculiar manner. It is understandable, therefore, why this character would have left such an impression. Should the people of Tatarasuna indeed have had a puppet in their midst, incurring mass panic, a good possibility considering the coexistence between yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very likely become a local resident. What is less well known is if the kabukimono was just another title for this puppet. Perhaps because it was uniquely dressed to distract attention from its more special characteristics. A workable theory, but one that still lacks enough evidence to support it. Still, it can be retained as an analytical lens of sorts. A list of individuals related to Tatarasuna has been compiled here based on historical documents from Inazuma. Starting from the administrators, the records are as follows. Armory Officer Niwa. Full name, Niwa Hishihide. He was the inheritor of the Isshin art and successor to the Niwa clan. His family, along with the Akame and Kaedahara clans, were together known as the Isshin Sansaku. Three families, maybe? Isshin 3 families? What I'm guessing, without seeing the kanji. Not that I know enough kanji to be able to tell, but anyway. Records show that Niwa was a modest and intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talent in the administration of territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are unknown, but he was suspected to have left Tatarasuna with his family following the incident. That's the guy then he left for, Shiznaya because of the Fatui. That kind of started the whole thing with the sword in Kazuha's quest. Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki. Full name Miyazaki Kaneo. He was Niwa's second in command. His origins are unknown, and he primarily assisted Niwa in forging and personnel management. He was of affable temperament and had many friends in the region, including one Mikoshi Nagamasa. He was an affable one. Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa. The successor of the Mikoshi clan, adopted son to Oni warrior Mikoshi Chiyo, and the younger adopted brother to Mikoshi Michihiro, also known as Iwakura the Successor. With his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagamasa alone bore the family name, striving daily to wipe the shame from their history. Though records state that Mikoshi Nagamasa was a stubborn figure, he was also noted to be a person of moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation and specifically requested special instruction from Miyazaki to further his capabilities. However, after the famous blade, Daitatara Nagamasa, was forged, he used it to slay his subordinate Katsuragi for reasons unknown at present. Subordinate, Katsuragi. Katsuragi's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I have sorted through, I have yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikoshi Nagamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick by his lord through thick and thin, and to give his life in service of it, if it was but asked of him. Kabukimono, full name unknown, background unknown. From the many sources I have compiled combined with Rumi's personal observations, this character might have been the puppet mentioned in the rumors. The Kabukimono was a figure of fashionable grace and gentleness. According to the hidden tales, he was brought back to Tatarasuna by Katsuragi and became a member of the community. When the Kabukimono first arrived in Tatarasuna, he knew nothing of cleaning, cooking, or any work of meticulous nature. The locals taught him their skills over time, showing him how to clean his attire, dance, and craft small trinkets. Records state that the Kabukimono was there when the Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, though his trail ends before Mikoshi Nagamasa slew Katsuragi. I believe that the Kabukimono was indeed the aforementioned puppet and that he quite likely had a hand in Katsuragi's death. And it seems that the rest of the paper remains unfinished. One thing for sure though, a lot of thought was put into it.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it.
I have to say, after reading both of those, I'm actually quite a lot more interested in Akaba's essay than I am Sawada's version.
Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
That's pretty clever, Paimon. Has this guy ever written an essay before?
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Well, how much hope do you have finding the truth as it is?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
Yep.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
We'll see. We'll see. Are they gonna have an evil conversation behind our backs? No. Okay, never mind.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Sure sounds like it.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh?
That's correct.
After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Yep.
If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
There he goes. What's wrong?
Did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
There he goes.
The Balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Alrighty, we will do that. He did, he just casually walked by. That was pretty funny. Followed the figure you just saw. Well, so I need up all our stamina here. Sanctuary, Torthana. In, right? Yeah. He's gonna go talk to Nahida, just like we want to. Yeah, we don't walk. Oh, we were just gonna fly down to her. We float everywhere we can.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are.
Remember, Dendro Archon.
Nahida! Bad news. We just saw the Balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey! What are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain.
Dude, Nahida, we don't understand what's going on.
It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
The World Tree?
A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about.
He's saying we're an asshole.
But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Also, he's like totally emo kid.
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
See? This guy.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
No.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
Okay, now you're totally underestimating our Dendro Archon friend.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
He looks so bitchy here.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
She's a deal maker. She's always looking for it. I guess she's read the art of the deal. And totally disregard everything in it.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
See? And the doctor's a huge asshole than the Balladeer here.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us.
Burn.
That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Former? You mean, he's not a Harbinger anymore?
I guess he lost. He probably got kicked out.
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Call him a loser. But that's right, we did serve him a big fat L. So he tossed you out like trash, Balladeer.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui. And also between each of the Harbingers.
Now we have to point out, of course, that Scaramouche is dealing with some severe mommy issues because mommy kind of abandoned him, and then his human friends kind of abandoned him. Yeah, so he's been abandoned a lot. He does not have a great love for humanity or Archons or really anyone, quite frankly. So you can kind of understand why he's kind of a little emo and a little bitchy.
So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Oh, now we're gonna pile it on? Really? What a crying shame. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
Thought he was a puppet. How is he a living being if he's a puppet? Okay, Nahida. Okay. But you see? Deal maker. She is a deal maker.
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him!
Shut up, Paimon.
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
I think most people know how this is going to work out, considering that the Wanderer that becomes a playable character. Or already is a playable character, but I obviously did not pull for him. This is a dude. If he was a female puppet, yes, we would have been pulling hard. But dude puppet, no matter how great his drip is, still couldn't do it. I'd actually put his drip at number 3 behind Zhongli, who is number one in our hearts, and then Ayato. I actually think his drip is better too, and he's number 2. But then Wanderer is very much got some good drip, especially in this incarnation here. It's very colorful. While then when he goes, just becomes the Wanderer, the playable Wanderer, it's kind of one note. It's not quite as good as this colorful Fatui uniform is.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Bitch, of course she is.
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
For me?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today.
Is it?
So, you have an update on that?
I don't remember that.
You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point.
Yeah, so Descenders are, yeah, this is where the lore gets really weird, so I'm not even gonna try to explain it.
It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me.
So yeah, the world tree is basically memories of the entire world.
So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
What if he lies to you?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all.
Yes. Information about her brother.
Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you.
This is also a theme of the Traveler. The Traveler is becoming best friends with, like, all of the Archons, especially all the ones we've met so far. I mean, Venti, yeah. Zhongli, yeah, Zhongli really likes the Traveler. The Raiden Shogun is warming up. And Nihida, we're already BFFs. I can't wait to see the other Archons and see how quickly, you know, the Traveler worms their way into a friendship with them.
If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Thank you, Nihida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
We have to come home. I tried pulling for Nihida the first time she came out, and did not work. As a free-to-play, I only have so many primos to use. So, but she's coming back around. We're gonna try again. We will try again.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
Our Dendro, our, I guess, Hyper Bloom team needs a Nihida in order to really take off.
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection.
Event, we did.
In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned.
We've been promoted to middle management. How do you like it?
Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease.
That mean we're assistant Dendro Archon right now? Associate Dendro Archon? Associate Archon? We can live with that.
Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Cool, we'll do it.
Great, thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Oh, you mean right now? Oh, I thought you meant in like a few minutes, or, you know, in the way that all these games are like, where it's like not always the most urgent of situations. All right then.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time.
Yeah.
The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Let's go take a little look-see here so y'all can see. Yeah, that's our world tree. Right. He's waiting for us. Hi, Balladeer. How nice.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nihida sent me to babysit you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
Bro, we just told him off. Why you gotta interrupt us?
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
He's so bitchy.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous.
Oh, this whole situation is ridiculous. I love it.
I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru.
Right?
Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Can the Balladeer stay calm? I don't know. And Paimon, maybe we should leave Paimon.
Fine. Let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
He thinks we're pretty. I mean, he's got good eyes then. But obviously, yeah, he thinks we're pretty. See? He just complimented us.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
He is older.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
He gotta stick the needle in a little bit.
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
There's no need for all the biting sarcasm. That's our job.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Right.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Yeah, why are we waiting? I really don't know what to expect, so.
Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
It's different than what I expected. It's different than what I imagined. It is very, very much like a domain.
Ooh. Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Shut up, Paimon.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen?
Paimon.
What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
It's got a point. Said stick close, we're gonna stick real close. Oh, thank you for the raid, Tiffany.
Things have spread out.
Welcome, everybody.
Those
Welcome.
are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
We are working on the quest, the Archime quest. Or is it a interlude? So, hello, sir. Just sir.
It looks the same in every direction.
Sir, yes, sir.
No
Yeah, there.
wonder
I got
he
it.
mentioned about getting lost. Huh.
Yeah, it's screwed up.
What do you know? He was actually telling the truth.
Okay, let's stay close this time.
Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
How are y'all doing tonight?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Thank you. We'll try and have a nice stream tonight. Very excited. I've been waiting to do this quest.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
The center of Irminsul. All the information in the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
Someone who doesn't pay attention to the story is so lost when this happened. My problem is that I'm a casual player, so I only play a little bit. I'd get dailies done basically each day and then try to like do event stuff. So it tends to be a long time in between each story mission that I do. So I forget everything by the time I get to it. So I'm trying to remember as I go.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Right. He hasn't put up any resistance and he seems good at working on the front line. Maybe he had a similar role in the Fatui. Yeah, Genshin does make things difficult. I feel like I learn a lot more from outside sources than I do like in the game. Of course, I haven't read all the books and like everyone does and everything. Well, not everyone, but the people that actually know what's going on. So they talk about like the Descenders and stuff and I'm like, I thought I knew what was going on, but I really don't. Here's the Akaba and Sawada stories. Now this, what a strange individual.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. It's just so weird. I don't... And I like that there's so much underneath the surface that I'm missing. I just wish I had time to like really dive into it. But... you know, between my bad memory and the fact that I'm just like so long in between, it just does not work.
Will do.
The Descenders thing really interests me though. It was really cool. Yeah, it's a super cool. I mean, there's like everything in this is like actually super cool. There's so much good lore behind like everything that's going on. Like there's the manga that they did that I've read part of, but not everything. It just like, and like all the stories, the books and everything, that just so much there that you kind of go out of your way to really learn about. And it really kind of, it's cool that it's not always thrown right in front of you, but it also sucks because then you don't always know what's going on quite enough. But yeah, it definitely requires a big amount of patience.
For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Okay, Nahida. Now we just talked. Why are we talking again? Is this a telepathic conversation? We had this kind of conversation way back in the event, the summer event, 2 years ago. No, last one. Wait. See, I'm confused already. I've forgotten which event it was that we were talking with her. The last one. Right? Yeah, with the islands. Yeah, it was 2 summers. There was one the year before that. That was the one with Jean and Barbara's alternate outfits. And then there was this one that had Jinyan and Kazuha with us. So, yeah, I think it was just, yeah, I I get confused at which one it was now. But yeah, we know this already. Official's outfit this time. Yeah, I picked that one up.
Yes, I've also invited Paimon to join.
I got all the free ones so far.
What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Settle down, Paimon. Settle down. You bought one? Which one did you buy? Oh, Kaching's. I don't have Kaching, so she's one of the few I don't have of the 5-star waifus. I don't have her, and I don't have Mona. I don't have Nahida yet. I think those are the only 5-star waifus I don't have. I just got Shinha this past banner. I only did a random 10 roll on it and happened to get her. I was like, oh, cool.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Do I have Chi-Chi? Yes. Yes, I do.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Yep, no Mona. I don't know how I've not gotten Mona. I've got C1 Diluc from losing 50/50s, but he's the only one I got only 5-star I have a constellation on, which is really surprising. And he sets the bench. He's a bench play for me. You can't get Chi-Chi, but you've got C2 Mona and Diluc. Wow. Yeah, I by the time I got her late actually, and so I don't use her as much. I've got her level up to 60 something, I think, but I've kind of been using Barbara from jump basically, so she's up there. Everyone complains about getting her. Yeah, I was kind of happy because I needed someone who didn't constantly infuse hydro in people for a healer for doing certain things, but I don't use her as much still. He seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others. So you're saying he's a good soul?
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Is it about his past, the betrayals, the other events in Inazuma? Ooh.
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Hey, even I remember that. I talked about this, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. So I remembered. It doesn't just Traveler. I remembered all about that. Actually, I caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into Hypatia at Paradise Die. I don't remember that. Oh yeah, now I do remember that. Now I'm thinking about it.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Yeah, that's where we learned about how he got tossed aside by Raiden Shogun, which was really sad. But, I mean, we knew she kind of messed up way back in the day, and now she's finally getting over that. That's my main, by the way.
Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
It's his rough exterior now.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Okay, tell us more, please. More.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
I was wondering why they made me do Kazuha's quest in order to open this. Now I finally understand. I was like, well, that seems really random, but since apparently it is all about what happened in Kazuha's quest, now it's fresh in my mind. So I come here and like, oh yeah, I remember all that. I just did this yesterday. Tell Nahida about the story between that Akaba and Sawada are writing.
Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gesse got it right?
I actually read the entire things. Oh, thank you for following, Sir Just Sir. Much appreciated.
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. I had to kind of do stuff late since family man. We had to take care of family stuff and work stuff, so stream late. But yeah, we do Genshin on and off now. I do stuff earlier in the week and different stuff. So, but most nights I'm here doing stuff. So definitely come hang out again. Really appreciate it.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
Settle down.
each other.
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Oh, we have every right to keep certain things confidential.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
I mean, he knows all this information. He was there.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
I mean, it sounded like, though, that there should be. That's what it... You know, the whole Descender thing.
Wait! How did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
He's got a big point here. Huge point. It should not be surprising at all. Alright, every conversation with you is hard work, but your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself, and making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
Ooh, something interesting? Something interesting?
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Huh?
Hey, don't you forget the agreement! You have to share it with us!
Shh. Just wait.
Okay, this ought to be good. This ought to be real good.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
It's part of that history. That name, Niwa was the man in charge at Tatarasuna. Plus, he belongs to the lineage of the Ishin art.
Whoa!
Uh-oh. Getting sucked in? You make us actually do something now?
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else.
So is this, Katsuragi?
Under your leadership,
No.
Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow.
So much lore right now, so much lore.
The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Is this a dude from Fontaine?
Yes, well, were
That's
it not
Niwa.
for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatarasuna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
Asher, that's an interesting name.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
We know your paintings.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do.
I both understand and don't understand what's going on.
None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope, but that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Is he Fatui then? Is he actually Shiznayan?
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Well, at least I was right that he is from Fontaine. I thought the truss was from Fontaine. Wasn't 100% sure, but I thought so.
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem.
Huh?
I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
No! I wouldn't trust you either.
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatarasuna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
He reaching for his dagger?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Yep.
A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
Yeah, you turn your back. That was dumb.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all.
Oh.
And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
It is from the Fatui.
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this?
Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
Okay, I thought that's who it was from the voice, but I wasn't 100% sure because it's been a couple months since I did the initial Sumeru Archon quest.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Oh.
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us.
Bro, you know he's not gonna do it. He just killed you. He ain't gonna do shit for you.
He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity.
There he goes. I kind of figured that with that he would eventually do that. It's the classic way to cut one character and put in another character, or, you know, change actors or something like that.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
All right, question. So, this is actually taking place like 400 years ago. So the Fatui have not worked on their outfits in 400 years. It's the same styles. They haven't updated them. They haven't done anything. It seems kind of strange. I mean, you would think that over that course of time they would update these outfits that they wear into something, I don't know, different. But I mean, it's pretty forward fashion for 400 years ago too. So I mean, maybe they knew they hit on something. I don't know. Really don't. Oh.
Hey,
Dottore. Dottore!
Uh-oh.
Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
Yes, afraid so. He was the one behind the Tatarasuna incident.
But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Must be.
Maybe so. But it means nothing.
The way you reacted, it meant something. Come on, bro.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Oh, he's got to come to trust that people don't actually hate him. Except when he acts like an asshole. This betrayal was a lie that he believed for hundreds of years. Was this part of the doctor's experiment? If the betrayal never happened, it existed only in his imagination. But where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Let's not go too far though, because, you know, we don't want to get lost. We don't want to die.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
It just changed his worldview.
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabukimono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process.
So he's getting all like the evil spirits and stuff? Is that so? A good heart and then these evil spirits? Is that what's making him so snarky?
The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?"
I'm still confused though about what the point is for Dottore, what he's doing. Like, what's this device that he created? What's the point of creating this problem in Inazuma? I mean, is it just because he knew in the future that they'd be able to take the Gnosis or something? I'm pretty confused.
The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for. He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants."
See, I told you, Niwa, he was not gonna say what you wanted him to say.
The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it had protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Yes, you're finally starting to get it, Paimon. Finally. Being betrayed and abandoned by a close friend is sure to cause great resentment. Now we know what was behind his decision to take revenge on the Raiden Kokiden 100 years ago. But it doesn't mean that vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
That's pretty hardcore.
Dottore, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Wait for a while. Okay. We get too close? A while later, okay.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright?
He looks, very happy with himself.
That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
We just want to make sure this doesn't affect the plan. Okay, come on now. Come on, Lumi. That's pretty harsh.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, aren't you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
Pie Man, shut up.
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Tevat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Not unexpected, but still. Thank you.
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your brother in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was his first destination when he arrived in this world.
Wait, I guess the puppet would know about Conria. Well, just, I mean, no, wait a second. Let's see. Raiden Makoto was killed in the war over Conria, right? And so the puppet was created by Raiden Shogun after that, so he wouldn't. Maybe. I'm trying to put the timeline into my head here, trying to understand it. So he wouldn't have any first-hand knowledge then about Conria. He must have heard about this then from someone who was around back then.
Plus, he only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
What summoning? Okay, now what's going on here?
The heavens responded?
What summoning?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your brother for a time.
What? The Jester, another Fatui harbinger.
I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Oh, smirking again.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
You want to fight again? No.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
Oh, he just wants an answer. He doesn't want Nahida to know, I guess. Alright, so what do you want to know, Boro?
Give me your hand.
Ooh, he wants to take it.
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Ooh, telepathy. Are you trying to brainwash me?
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
No, bro. Wait, why would you ask that?
Done.
Huh? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Paimon, he was asking Lumion out on a date. He didn't, he was embarrassed. Just let him cook.
Nothing. I was just thanking her for helping me.
Wait, that look. Did you see me hesitate? But that was because I know about Greater Lord Rukkhadevana. Uh-oh, I think
So long.
by not denying it,
I
gave him his
suggest
answer.
you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Balladeer, stop!
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Oh, he's actually trying to redeem himself.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
All right, now it got interesting. It went from super interesting to, oh my god, what the hell's going on?
Oh no, he's really gone.
Obviously, I've not been spoiled on this mission, so I don't know what's going on at all. I mean, I kind of know what's gonna happen just because he's a playable character, but how we got there is, I have no idea. Which is why, for those that are always upset about spoilers, spoilers are not inherently bad. I mean, it's really about the journey to get to the end. So if you're spoiled with something, you shouldn't be that upset about it, I don't think. If you look at it that way, it's just knowing one thing or something happened doesn't mean that it's all spoiled. It just means that you have a start point and an end point, and in between there's you can really kind of be surprised by how it got from point A to point B. Because that right now I'm completely trying to figure out what the hell's going on here to get from point A to point B.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nahida!
Yes.
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
Yeah, bro did that and then he left.
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
And then he peaced out. You tell Nahida everything that happened.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Kind of the latter, but not quite. I think he knew he could do it. I don't think it was beyond his abilities. I just think it took everything it had. Because he knew he was going to do what he did.
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
Yep, you got it. Are we running or are we just gonna warp there? Looks like we're just gonna warp. Yep.
We're out. And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you.
Obviously we've been taken out of time and put somewhere. We don't want to do a Back to the Future and ruin the past and the future, so this is why she's keeping us out. So, isn't there anything I can do?
I'm sorry, but This isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
Shut down.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Balladeer changing the past to change the future and change the past. Time travel is always crazy.
Her voice has gone.
Especially when it comes in this kind of way.
Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
Paimon doesn't remember Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and the Balladeer's question was a strange one. It's hard to explain in full, and the truth might be very distressing for Paimon. True. I'll skip the part about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata for now and focus on the Balladeer. So you tell Paimon what the Balladeer asked you and what he might have been planning.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible!
Not easy, that's for sure.
Right! You can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already in real life. It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
That's a decent example, Paimon. Proud of you.
So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Ooh, Paimon's so confused.
Maybe he wants to erase himself from history.
Huh?
Dummy! Paimon, are you okay? No, that's not asking if she's okay.
Sorry. Paimon accidentally... It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress.
Well, how about you sit down and stop playing around?
But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul?
So is that breaking going to be a Chekhov's gun where we gotta wait for it to fire and before that tells us something? I'm just guessing here.
Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too?
Indeed, if the Balladeer does erase himself from Irminsul, many people in Inazuma will be affected. I can't imagine what that situation would look like. Yeah, that'd be huge. Worst case scenario, it would affect everyone with a connection to the Raiden Gokuden. Kazuha, Ayaka, Ayato. Will this mean they'll disappear?
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next?
Nope.
Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
Well, gonna have to learn.
So, how about, we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers. Tea break pancakes. Cream stew. Sauteed matsutake.
Wait. I thought the door would be closed. So she didn't even like close it in. So oh my god, this is a little bit different than I thought.
And Dragon chili chicken. Almond tofu. Satisfying salad.
Or is it just for framing here?
Also, Adeptus Temptation, golden shrimp balls, triple layered consomme, lotus seed and bird egg soup, and...
Oh. Paimon, what's wrong?
What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now? Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
You were getting so worried about the situation with the balladeer that you started listing foods.
The balladeer?
Oh.
Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name though.
Dun, 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 dun. Pieman doesn't remember the balladeer. That must mean he actually pulled it off? But how did he have that ability? This doesn't make sense.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said?
No. It's nothing.
So, the balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
If this is really happening, I need to know what else has changed. Pieman, come with me. No, don't leave yet.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I want to go back to Inazuma.
Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Now's not the time to explain. But we haven't gotten the go-ahead yet. Alright. Where are we at? I wasn't planning on going too much longer, but I think this might affect stuff tomorrow. Well, let's push a little bit further forward. Yes, I could have just hit the button, but I didn't. Like, I don't want it to affect my dailies tomorrow before we get back into the story. Haha, stairs? No. You don't take the stairs. Yeah. So I can go talk to Amenoma Togo, who is one of the from one of the sword clans.
We've made it to Amenoma Smithy.
Ah, it's been a while.
Pardon me, I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Of course. Go ahead.
About the Raiden Gokuden. Could you tell me that story one more time?
Oh. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more.
Let's find out what's different.
The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive.
Okay.
But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokuden 5. If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh yeah, we were. Paimon remembers that now.
Yeah, that was at the end of the mission.
We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then too. It seems like such a shame.
What was the reason behind their decline?
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed.
This is what we want to know.
In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaedehara Kazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale.
Well, go on.
The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene hoping to prevent a disaster.
This must be Niwa.
Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan.
Do we know that?
Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but neither of them made it out.
So no Balladeer.
The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphaned son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery.
Okay.
Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it. Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan, which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokuden.
Oh, Hyakume clan. Okay.
But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
Legend of the Raiden Gokuden has changed. Someone else attacked the swordsmiths. Looks like the Balladeer did something in Irminsul, but it seems Niwa still died.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Have you seen Kazuha recently?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. He seemed well.
Good. Well, he just... Wait. So we did... What? He just said that we saw him make the blade. Yeah, so obviously he exists. So he still exists, and he's the same Kazuha I know. Things don't seem as bad as I feared last night. That's all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all. You can't hide anything from Paimon. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right behind you.
Alright, what's next? Yasho Commission. We want to go see Ayaka and Ayato.
We're here! This is the Yashiro Commission's headquarters, so...
Traveler, it's been a while.
Bro, I kicked your ass already. Oh, or did I kick your ass in this timeline, in that event?
If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
Okay.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
Thank you. We'll take you up on that offer. She really wants to talk to them. Can you take a walk in the courtyard?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
So we still seem to be on good terms
We'll
with
be heading in then.
everyone we knew, which is good.
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say?
Ma'am, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you. What would you like to know?
How are the commissioner and Miss Kamisato these days?
Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings and occasionally paying visits to some local organizations on the commissioner's behalf. As for the commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever.
Yep.
That much hasn't changed. Although he does seem to be in a rather good mood these days.
So pretty much business as usual on the Yashiro Commission, huh?
Very much so.
So Ayato is still the Yashiro commissioner. Ayako is still the lady of the house. No changes there. As far as I can see, nothing's changed in the Yashiro commission either. I was expecting as much, but it's still a big relief to know that the Kamisato siblings are both safe and well.
Well, got any more questions?
That's all for now. Many thanks.
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time for that.
True.
Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend, and she's always saying how talented you are and how much she admires you. I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all.
Always nice to hear praise like that, so we are definitely flattered.
I mean it. Whenever the commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed when I'm serving the two of them and listening to them chat away. The commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home. But given the opportunity, he always prefers to dine
Right.
here.
You're talking a little too slow.
They say it's because Toma's a much better chef than most. Oh, the commissioner is so fond of home
Okay,
comforts.
you didn't need to have that much text.
They get to talking about you sometimes too, you know. Always with a very fond tone. The way one would talk about dear old friends around whom one can truly be themselves.
Come on now.
Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together.
Okay, I can't.
It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato passed away. Much
has happened in the Kamisato clan in that time. Yes.
Someone who is old and gray enough to have
Watch their son and
their
daughter grow up.
son
It makes you
and
so
daughter
happy to
grow
see
up.
them meet a dependable
Makes
friend
me
whose company
so
they enjoy so
happy.
much.
So, in the future, if you ever do have the time,
Yes, please know you're always welcome at the
please
Yashiro
know
Commission
you are
headquarters. There will always be at least one old lady who will be
very
delighted to have the
welcome
pleasure of your
at the
company.
Yashiro
All right, thank
Commission
you.
Headquarters. Wonderful. Thank you.
Sorry, it was just taking way too long. I'm getting tired.
Sit here too. Also, you were saying something about the food here being really great. Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Paimon's still the same.
Of course. You're always welcome.
Alright, goodbye for now. Where are we going next?
To Tarasuna.
Great! Goodbye, ma'am. Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
All right, then. Take care now. Hope to see you soon.
All right.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep.
Everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels. Goodbye.
Uh-oh. What? Oh god, I can't do it because I got other quests to do. Oh my god. Oh wait, which one is this one? Tara Tales. Alright, so we've been cock-blocked by missions, okay. So we can't go any further there, we have to do another mission. The Tatara Tales. Something ominous seems to have occurred at Inazuma's Tatarasuna. So that is here. There it is, right there at the Kujo Catman. Okay. All right, so now I will not be blocked. So if I have time, I'll see if I can work on that a little bit, so we can continue this later next week. So we got a ton of story quests to do because, like I said, I've been really bad about doing them. So, like I said, we got all of these to do. Pretty much all of the character quests at this point to do. So there's definitely a lot, a lot to get through. So first things first, of course, is to get through the interlude chapter, and then the next chapter here of the what I guess of the Kanria episode, so that we can keep up to date with the main story. So we'll really work on that first, and then we can continue doing story quest after that. Like I said, we got a lot of them, and because I didn't realize when I originally accepted them that they would not be what's the word, you know, just in the backlog and not kind of already procced as soon as you do it. Yeah, it's kind of screws up some quests and stuff, but yeah, I got a lot to untangle here. I got a lot to untangle because I even got some other stuff here. I got like some of these smaller quests. I haven't done the one with the rain, and like, wasn't that in Tatarasuna too? There's a lot of stuff that we haven't actually done. So yeah, yeah, like I said, this tells you how casual it has been.
No purpose whatsoever.
And then here we go. This is what we got for characters. And you can see Waifu City, Waifu City, Waifu City. And yes, I even have a Eula, who is one of my favorite characters. Right now is not part of either one of my main teams, but was for a long time. I was actually running a team that was Beidou and Eula with Barbara, and who was and then like a rotating fourth, I think it was. Who was the fourth? I'm trying to remember. Was it Ganyu? Was I using Ganyu a lot more then? I think I was using Ganyu a lot at that point as like a ranged. And then once I got the Ren Shogun, she stepped into the role, and when that happened, you know, her skill basically gives you electro attack, so combined with Yanfei for some overload, just like constant overloads, that's when Yanfei kind of joined the party a bit. And then with Dendro Traveler is good, so you know, I've been kind of running a variety party there. But yeah, see, we have a good number of, you know, lots of waifus. And then you can see my bench here. You can see they all kind of have one thing in common, except for Jinyan, who I've been meaning to actually level up to 20 at least. And I guess we could probably do Aloy if we really wanted to, but like, you notice Goro, dude. Heisu, dude. Zhongyun, dude. Razor, dude. Jinsho, dude. Toma, dude. Bennett, dude. As you can see, all dudes other than Kaya are not getting any kind of levels whatsoever because we're not spending any resources on them. I think Kaya was actually almost all overworld exploration levels, or did I give him a few books early on? Because like I said, I didn't have an ice a cryo person for a very long time. So I had to run him when we already had that. And finally, I think my first one was, I think, Diona. I want to say. Because we didn't get Chi-Chi for a very long time. I think I got Eula. I think Eula was the next one I got. And so once I had Eula, then I was running her. No, it was Ganyu I had next, and I was running Ganyu. Yeah, that's right. Because I had Diona was my cryo bow, and then I got Ganyu, and Ganyu was so much better, and so we were running Ganyu for a very long time. And then eventually, you think Eula was the next one, and Eula's the best, so we were using her. Yeah, so. But yeah, I'm working on a Hyper Bloom team here. I got my Nailu's working on a Nailu here. We've been running Nailu, Traveler, and Barbara, and Yo-Yo. And it's kind of a Hyper Bloom team, which is okay. It's too many healers, so we might switch that out and maybe try to bring in like Yelan or something, but we're gonna have to have one healer, so I'm not sure which one it'll end up being. It might end up being Barbara, and then still no Yelan after all, and then bring in Nikita. That should be fun. But yeah, just got Shinha, like I said a couple weeks ago. But yeah, we are stocked with waifus. I've been meaning to kind of level Himiko up a little bit, but I hated fighting the Bishop, so that was kind of a bummer there. And of course got Dia, who I guess sucks apparently, but she's a great character. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Actually, do I have a constellation on her too? No. I thought maybe I did. I don't have a constellation on any of the other 5 stars. But of course, full out on Barbara. But yeah, none of the other 5 stars. Then I'm now full out on Baito. I forgot about that. Oh, I do have one. I have a C1 Chi-Chi. I didn't realize that. That must be recent. But yeah, then like 4 stars, of course, I'm maxed out on a lot of them. Ningguang. Still have a few. Bishop, of course, that makes sense. Kale. Oh, it hasn't been around long enough for that. Amber is I haven't bought. I should probably buy the constellations for her when they pop up. Yamiko, of course, no. Dia, no. Eugene, actually, we have not found any extra ones, which is surprising. And Rosaria has been pretty rare. Noelle, yep. Kujisara, oh yeah, we're actually full out on her too. Sucrose, we need one more. Ooh. Yona, one more too. Layla's pretty new too, so no, and Tori. I must have bought Lisa one. And then Candace is pretty new too, so. But yeah, we're working on it there. Alright. Alright, so we'll stop there. We do have some work ahead of us, so we will need to work on that so that we can continue on with this Archon Interlude quest. So yeah, at least you can't really screw with anything for dailies for the next few days, so we'll see how things go, but hopefully I can knock that out beforehand. If not, then we'll be doing it on stream. But I assume we'll probably be doing it probably be Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow I'm still planning on doing a stream on the other channel. We'll see who I can get. I've been trying to get in touch with people, but it's a holiday, Easter holiday, so I know some people are out, so it's, you know, people are on vacations and such, so we'll see what we end up doing there. But then, you know, Sunday will be off, and then back Monday, Tuesday, we'll be doing some more Outer Worlds here. So yeah, we're getting there now. We're doing pretty good there. We're definitely in the latter half, so kind of get to decide what we want to do. Got a couple places to go, so yeah, we'll see what we get into there. So thank y'all for hanging out and watching. Like I said, shout out for that raid. Much appreciated. And follows and chatting and all that from that was awesome. Glad people were here and got to chat a bit. That's always fun. And hopefully we'll see some of them again. So any of you also out there watching this later, you can hit that follow button here on Twitch and the notification button. You can come hang out a bit. You can follow us on social media at Streams by Star on Twitter. Oh, and actually, that's on the other side. That's on my other channel. That's not even this channel. I don't have a Twitter here. Man, I am just falling straight into that one, that ending there. But YouTube, exclamation point YouTube, we'll get you that link. So if you want to check that out, VODs right now, that's all going on. Like, once I get an actual model that is more character focused, then we will start putting out some stuff that will be other stuff. So be on the lookout for that once it starts happening. It's not like imminent, but it is in the plan. So might be keeping an eye out for that kind of stuff. So yeah. There'll be links in the descriptions of the videos to the Twitch here and any social media we end up doing. I haven't decided anything there yet. Been avoiding Twitter, but maybe because it seems to be fairly important, but you know, it's Twitter. Of course, I'll like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff on any videos you haven't watched. Do appreciate it. So yeah, that is going to do it here tonight. Thank you all once again. Hopefully y'all doing well. Stay well. Stay safe. Stay good. Stay healthy. Stay fresh. Stay fresh out there. I will see all of y'all lovely people next time. So be good. Stay fresh. Love y'all.